And I met Lori Eddie through Dennis.
Sure.
Great.
It's, a lot of energy up until the end. He was pushing himself. He actually had a heart condition for a long time. Yeah, he just basically, it's kind of like congestive heart failure. He was going with drugs, and then ultimately he just ran out of gas. Anyway, I said good morning.
They gave her an allergy shot. Makes her really so much rain that you can't. Did you see that accident on State of Florida this morning? I guess Kim and John and all them must have been sick. They had her on their phone.
This will definitely be the day to deal with it. Thank you again for providing. I'm Is that So when I came in here, I seen the shirt, but he was ducked down like this, so I didn't see the picture. Yeah, I knew about it. It's just I got caught up with work, and I tried to hurry up to finish the appointment to get over here. Who was it? Oh, she actually she sent me the card. And I'm like, Sunday. Remember Sunday? Remember Sunday?
Gotta turn it on, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for coming to the Memorial Life of Dennis Fletcher. He was a great friend of a lot of people. And I want to say thank you to the Human Relations Council, Mary Morris, for helping put this on. And I also want to let everybody know we did finally get a live stream going. So if you want to share the live stream to your families and friends, people that couldn't make it, we are live on actioninews.com. That's action, EYE like a lazy eye, news.com. So y'all can definitely share that. So I definitely would like to have the honor to open this to everybody. Dennis has been a really, really great friend to us. He's not just a friend, but he was also like family to us. You know, one of the memorial things I can really think of about Dennis, there was one night when we were at El Zarafi Mexican restaurant, and we were doing a video for El Zarafi, and Dennis, you know, he don't drink alcohol, but he pretended very well. And let me tell you, Dennis went outside to the front of El Zarafi right there at the door, and there was a little sewer plate sitting there on the sidewalk. You know, I guess that was the sewer system for him. Dennis lays down on the ground, and I swear, I did a live stream on this. People thought this guy was drunk. I mean, they was like, somebody help this guy, you know? And he's on the ground saying, yeah, somebody sat here and left their name here, SEWER. I don't know how the word is, or something like that. And I'm like, Dennis, are you sure you're okay? He's like, yeah, I think I am. I just had too many martinis, or martinis, he calls them. So, I mean, a lot of people bash me, like, man, you didn't help this guy? I'm like, come on, guys, it's a skit. Dennis was having a great time. And that's the kind of personality Dennis had, you know? Dennis was, he was crazier than I was. I told everybody, you know, I'm the crazy guy with a lazy eye, but Dennis, this guy's the crazy guy with a straight eye. So, you know, I hope Dennis, you know, rest in peace. He was a truly missed. And we love that guy to death, I'll tell you. It's just, I can't believe he's not with us anymore. So I just wanted to share that little story with you guys as an opening. And I know Dennis is probably up there making all kind of jokes in heaven right now, you know. So, and you know, a lot of people always say one thing about Dennis. You know, Dennis was, you know, a human. He was a Democrat and a liberal. And I tell everybody I'm a Republican. You know, I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat, but I get along with everybody, you know. And Dennis was the only really Democrat that I could actually sit there and enjoy a conversation with. A lot of people tell me that. So, you know, Dennis was just that kind of person. So I'm going to turn everything over to Mary Ann Morris. Again, Ms. Morris, I really appreciate you and the Human Relations Council for throwing this on. We've been trying to get something set up for Dennis, but between all the other vigils that we've had, and everybody seems like they're passing away on us, I guess the good Lord's getting ready to come. He's taking good people first, you know. So I'm glad that you guys came together and put this on for us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Ms. Morris. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie.
I know, right?
Well, I'd like to invite the president of Human Relations Council to come up, Malcolm Lillienthal.
all y'all for coming. Dennis is really special. I can't tell you how many times we got in fights and arguments over different various topics, mainly like the homeless topic. But I know he had a good heart. We both, we could come together afterwards. And there was a couple times where I thought I lost him as a friend because of our arguments. But we would always reconnect after a week or so, or whatever. Both of our prides would come down, and we'd somehow get back into each other's lives. Like, you know how you throw something near someone and then you just happen to pick it up near them? Something like that. But I'm gonna miss him. He was always calling me every day and talking about like his next steps and what he was doing. And he was probably like my biggest cheerleader behind the scenes, and always hyping me up and keep up I'd always complain to him about something happening on city council or something, and he, don't worry about it. He tried to show me like the good side of it, and so I miss that about him. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Miss Mary. She's gonna open it up. She's gonna be our host for tonight. So, Mary?
Thanks, Malcolm. Thank you, Malcolm. I am so happy to see all of you here today because we're celebrating somebody very, very special, very special. And the Human Relations Council, we have one of our founders here today, and that's Amrik Singh. And this organization has been in existence since 1998. That's a lot of years, Amrik. That's a lot of years, yes. I've known you for almost all of those years. And we have a number of our board members here too that are helping to make this happen. But we're just so grateful to have had Dennis as a friend. And I know what you're talking about, Malcolm. There were times you get in an argument or a conversation and it could go on for hours. And you didn't always end up on the same page. But in the end, you ended up going the same direction, which is absolutely what happened with everybody that I know that knew Dennis. That's exactly what it was. We were all going the same direction, and that's why he was just such an absolute dynamo, absolute dynamo. Anyway, we're going to start this. It's a little bit of a formal memorial, which isn't exactly Dennis's style, but it's my style, and I'm doing it. So, anyway, but what I am going to do is to ask one of our board members, and not a founder, but almost a founder. He showed up like about the 5th meeting of Human Relations Council. And that's second meeting, never mind, he's almost a founder. Michael Magical, who is going to do a Native American blessing for us and for Dennis.
You are just 28 days shy of that, that's all.
You're 28 days shy of being a founder, okay. Gee, I don't know that we can move this.
That's fine.
You want to talk from here? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to be over there most of the time, so I'll just try to speak loud. Just to introduce, I'm Mike Madrigal. I am a member of the Cahuilla Band of Indians. I grew up at the Saboba Indian Reservation, and I've been a member of the HRC since 1998. I think it was like in September, and I think they were formed in July or August. July? Great, so I was a couple months late to the first meeting, but today we want to honor one of our servants, members, and friends, Dennis. And so let's all take a moment to reflect, and if you would like, you can join in the spirit of the ceremony, which is a traditional Native American blessing of the directions. Usually we would light some sage, some white sage. We can't have fire in here, so I'll light the fire out on the patio once the ceremony is kind of wrapping up. But of course the spirit of this is to open our hearts, to allow ourselves to be present, to allow ourselves to be healed, to let go of anything including worry, fear, anger, sadness, to let go of those things that could keep us from offering a good prayer to our Creator, or that could keep us from being relaxed and present to one another. That's the purpose of the ceremony. We'll also sing a song, one of the Kauai bird songs, as a celebration of life, and that is to remember all the wonderful things that Dennis has done for the community, his family, friends, and each of us have known Dennis in different ways. And I do remember Dennis spending a lot of time at the Indian reservation, and always, of course, speaking to anyone he could get to listen to him, catch their attention, always chasing after people to ask questions. And so that's just a beautiful example of engagement and of care and interest. And then he always wrote and shared so many wonderful things for the community to help understand one another better. So that, of course, is right there at the core of what the Human Relations Council is all about. So we thank our friend and brother Dennis for doing that work for all of his life. I didn't know him all of his life, but I think that was built into him. It came natural. So I'm going to move over there, just be a few minutes, and you can join in your own way, whatever your own spiritual tradition happens to be.
Thanks, Mike.
So at this point, the smoke is not visible. However, we offer the healing medicine of the plants that our Creator gives to us. They are for healing, for purification, and to help us to have a good gathering today. They also are here to bless and assist our brother Dennis on his spirit journey, as we know that he's left his body in this world and is on a new adventure, on a new journey. And so we ask that our Creator will help to give strength to his spirit as he continues his life in a new way. Amna Ahmed, within Iowa, Achakwa Etmo Muntamal, Nesun Achama, O great loving Creator, O greatness of being, we thank you and we love you. We ask you to help us to be good to one another, and we say thank you, thank you. Amna Ahmed, within Iowa, Achakwa Etmo Muntamal, Nesun Achama, O great loving Creator, we thank you, we love you. We ask you to help us to be good to one another. We say thank you, thank you. We ask you to guide and watch over all of our sisters and brothers wherever they may be. We ask you to bring peace and healing to our gathering and to our world. Amna metwedetni ayawa achakwa ehmo mundamal. Nesunachama. O greatness of being, we thank you and we love you. We ask you to watch over and guide Dennis as he makes his spirit journey. We pray for peace and strength, and we pray for love to always be in his pathway. And we thank you again for the many blessings, teachings, and joys and sadness and all that he brought into this world. We say, Nesun Achama, thank you. Amna and Widetni Ayawa Achakwaya Muntemal Nesunachama. O greatness of being, we thank you, we love you. We ask you to watch over and bless the spirit of our brother Dennis at all times. We ask you to bring your blessings here to all of us, and we pray for a peaceful and joyful gathering today. We send that peace and joy and love out to all of the world and out to our brother Dennis on his spirit journey. And again, we say, thank you, Nesun Achama. Our hearts are good, my heart is good. And then also as a celebration of life, I'll sing a bird song. These songs They tell the history of our people. They remind us where we have come from, how our Creator made us, how our Creator made us all sisters and brothers, how we share this world with not only our fellow human beings, but with all the plants and the animals, the rocks, the mountains, the water, the energies and spirits. They're all part of our family, and the songs remind us of our connections to one another. This is a song to ask for blessings and strength from all of the good medicines that are in our area, from the plants in particular, bring us healing. Toma, tome a die, 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 tome me, pensare y pivale, tome me, pensare y pajale, tome me, pensare y pivale, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die. Toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, tome me, pensare e pivale, tome me, pensare e pajale, tome me, pensare e pivale, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die. Toma, tome a die, toma, tome a die, tome me, pensare e pivale, tome me, pensare e pajale, tome me, pensare e pivale, toma, tome a die, 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 tome me, pensare e pivale, tome me, pensare e pivale, toma, tome a die, 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 tome me, pensare e pivale, toma, tome a die, 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 tome me, pensare e pivale, tome me, pensare e pavale, tome me, pensare e pivale, ha, 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 ha.
They're out there, so not only is the blessing symbolic, it's also real with the sage.
Oh, sure. Of course, you know, the tradition is to have the smoke come over you, and you can make motions as if you were washing yourself with water. You pull the smoke over you. You can turn around like this, and then you can lift one foot, and you can lift another foot, and bring it to yourself, and bring it within, and that's the purification signal. So blessings.
It's beautiful.
God bless you.
Can we do this and think of Dennis at this moment?
Oh yes.
Okay.
We love you, Dennis. And please receive this healing medicine on your journey, Dennis. Yes. May it be this way. So you all can receive blessing and healing. Thank you.
Did you feel that? Okay. Is this a purification? Okay.
Yes.
Purification of
Yeah, you're fine.
the mind?
Yes,
spirit?
a mind, body, spirit, heart. Yes, that is the purpose of the ceremony. Yes, yes, it's a purification ceremony for mind, body, and heart. So
It's beautiful. Thank you.
you can receive the healing from the plant and ask for blessings from our loving Creator, higher being. We call our God Omna'am, which means the greatness of being.
When
Omna'am.
you pray, you don't close your eyes and you don't talk to God so much as the Creator. What would be the right language to speak correctly in this moment with you?
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, we all have different understandings and ways of relating to sacred or to God. We all have different ways, and they're all good. So we have to find what we have within our own heart.
How would you say
And most,
for this?
the people in the Kauai community and the Native community, we often think about God as spirit, which is everywhere and everything with everyone. And so we're honoring that greatness of being all around, and we're taking care to respect and honor the energy and the power and the blessings that come through that great mystery. Another word that many Native people use is the great mystery when we're talking about God, because there's no way to really give a name to God. We just grasp for things. So mystery is a good one to use.
Is there a final, like in a Christian prayer, it ends with Amen, Amen.
Oh, yes.
Is there any terminal language when you are speaking with spirit that you, or is there a way that you verbally communicate with spirit when you're activating your incantations? What do you say?
Well, I think the most important thing is opening your heart and your mind and your spirit and your body. So that's our first point of contact.
Okay.
That's our point of contact. But in words, yes, we are usually expressing gratitude, and we say Nesun Achama, which means my heart is good.
Nesun Achama.
Nesun Achama.
Nesun
My heart is
Achama.
good. Nesun Achama means my
Let's
heart
do
is
that.
good. Nesun Achama, Nesun Achama.
Nesun Achama.
And we also say He, which means
Hey,
yes it is. It means may it be this way. Yes it is.
Nesun Achama. Hey.
Nesun Achama. My heart is good. He is like saying yes. It's an affirmation, yes.
Is the Kauai language different than Saboba?
That's a good question. So at
Similar but different?
Saboba there are Kauai and Payom Coachim people. So many of the people at Saboba are Kauai, and a lot of the people are Payom Coachim, which is also known as a Luiseño. The two tribes are they're neighbors. We've lived together for a very long time, and our languages are almost the same. It's like a difference between Spanish and Portuguese in the two languages. But there is a difference in the language.
Can you translate this one for me? Because I've always wondered what it meant. Is it Hey Matachi Mata? Hey Matachi Mata?
Continue. Michael may stay out there. Sometimes he takes it. He buries the sage that's been burnt in the dirt. Yeah, he'll do that. That's fine. Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, Dennis's way of looking at the world was a total fascination. Absolute fascination. Absolutely everything fascinated him. He was so interested in everything. Totally interested. So I'm so happy that we were able to have Native American blessing. I also have a little quote here from the Quran, from the Wisdom of Islam. And this, I love this quote. This quote is about sorrow. It's about big sorrow, which I know a lot of us have because of Dennis. We have big sorrow. But it says, "My heart is so small, it's almost invisible. How can you place such big sorrows in it?" And look, he answered, "Your eyes are even smaller, yet they behold the whole world." And I just love that. That is just beautiful. It's like, yeah, the big sorrows are there, but Spirit takes care. Spirit takes care of all of us. And I am going to ask Gina to come up, Gina Estern, and read for us the Mourner's Kaddish from the Jewish tradition.
I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you. Dennis was my very first friend that I made when I moved out here, and we both moved roughly around the same time into the area. And like you, we had arguments. And yeah, the next day everything was perfectly fine. Actually on both our sides. And I really appreciate that. And he's the one that took me around everywhere you mentioned. And part of that was, journalistically, and part of it just was, it was fun. So I miss him dearly. And I did make a slideshow which shows some of the stuff that we went through. I also was lucky to get some of the photographs from his daughter and from his website, his Facebook page. So I've got it running in the other room. If you get a chance, you can go take a peek. And the Mourner's Kaddish is an interesting prayer in Judaism. It is said, of course, at every funeral, and actually for the first year of mourning the death of a loved one. It's every day. You're supposed to try and say the Kaddish actually every day. I'm not that quite good. And then after the first year, actually it's just shy, 11 months and 1 day shy of the first year, you stop on a daily basis, but on the anniversary of their death, you repeat this particular prayer. I'll read it in Hebrew the best I can, and I have the English translation. So, Yitkadal ve'yitkadosh me'rabah, ba'am dibra chirutei, vayamlich malchutei, vayechon uvmeyachon, uvaychayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'gala uvazman kariv, v'imru amen. That paragraph is hallowed and enhanced may God be throughout the world of creation. May God's sovereignty soon be accepted during our life and the life of all Israel. And let us say, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach Le'olam Omeo Amaya. May God be praised throughout all time. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitparar, V'yitmamam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shmei Kucha, B'richu, Leila Minkol, V'chirata, V'yishtarata, Tushbachata, V'neamachta, V'amiran, V'amah, V'yiru, Amen. And that's glorified and celebrated, lauded and worshipped, acclaimed and honored, extolled and exalted, may the Holy One be praised beyond all song and psalms, beyond all tributes which mortals can utter. And let us say, Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Let there be abundant peace from heaven with life's goodness for us and for all the people of Israel. And let us say, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May God, who brings peace to the universe, bring peace to us and to all the people of Israel. And let us say, Amen. I've been, unfortunately, to many, many funerals in my life. And in the Jewish tradition, there's a psalm that actually sounds very familiar across many religions. Psalm 23, that is usually read. And the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So, it's interesting that none of this refers directly to death, other than if you were walking through the valley of death. But basically, it's at a time like this to reaffirm your beliefs, no matter what they be, and how you do share them with yourself and with others. It's good to know that we are together, even though we are missing a physical being here, but their soul is living on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gina. And I'd like to invite Felicity to come up and say a prayer in the Baha'i tradition.
Thank you, everyone. Dennis wanted to know about the Baha'i faith. Unfortunately, 2 weeks before we invited him, passed on. But I'm sure he's going to get an earful.
Oh, yes.
When I heard about Dennis and stuff that he was doing, I felt ashamed. I thought, oh my God, I have a long way before I could possibly catch on. But what I did for him is I added his name to the list of people that I pray for every day. So this is a prayer from the writings of the Baha'i faith, or men. We have many prayers for all kinds of people, but anyway, here we go. Oh my God, verily thy servant humble before the majesty of thy divine supremacy. Lowly at the door of thy oneness, hath believed in thee and in thy verses, hath testified to thy word, hath been enkindled with the fire of thy love, hath been immersed in the depths of the ocean of thy knowledge, hath been attracted by thy breezes, hath relied upon thee, hath turned his face to thee, he hath offered his supplications to thee, and hath been assured of thy pardon and forgiveness. He hath abandoned this mortal life, and hath flown to the kingdom of immortality, yearning with the favor of meeting thee. O Lord, glorify his station, shelter among the pavilion of thy supreme mercy. Cause him to enter thy glorious paradise and perpetuate his existence in thine exalted rose garden, that he may plunge into the sea of light in the world of mysteries. Verily, thou art the generous, the powerful, the forgiver, and the bestower. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Felicity. All right, now I know that there are a lot of people here that would like to say something about Dennis, something that they want to share, something that happened, something that was funny, something that was difficult, anything. Our Dennis was so multifaceted, so multifaceted. I mean, you could have an argument with him 1 minute and then love him to death the next, and vice versa, and go flip it the other way around too. And because he's so interested in everything, absolutely interested in everything. But the first one that I would like to invite, and I don't know if you would like to come up, Judy, would you like to come up? No, not at this time. I'm so glad you're here, though. Very glad you're here. Very glad. All right. Now, I know there are people who would like to come up. I know there are. All right. Come on. when you get up here, if you just let people know who you are and how you met Dennis. That could be interesting, huh? That's good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Clarence Bowser. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce of both chambers, the Hemet San Jacinto, the Greater San Jacinto. And I met Dennis, I want to say it was probably last year or the year before, from a chamber event. And when he met me, he told me, it's like, yeah, we're never going to be friends. And I'm like, what? He was like, well, you sell insurance, so I don't like those guys. I said, well, there's a lot more to me than just selling insurance. And he was like, it doesn't matter. So he never thought that we would be good friends. So Dennis, as he started attending and he was, doing his newspaper and writing articles, he would notice, like, everybody sees my vest that has a saying on it. And every event he would go to, he would see this vest, and he's just like, who is this guy? Like, why is he everywhere? I need to know who he is, because he's just everywhere. I just can't, so he started to get to know me. And then he found out that I wrote books. And he was really thrilled about it. And after that, he was like, man, you're like one of the most intelligent young men that I've ever come across. Hey, brother, that's kind of high to put me up there, right? But Dennis was, he was amazing. And a lot of you guys have met me because of the way of Dennis. And, I greatly appreciate the friendship that we were able to develop. He really liked my mom before she passed away. He was trying to get to know her, but she was leaving out to Georgia because he wanted to know, how did you end up raising this young man? Like, out of all the things he's been through, he talks so highly of her. He just wanted to get to know her, but unfortunately she left before that could happen. And Dennis, he would always say, if you need me, call me. And I put him to that test. I call him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey buddy, what's going on? Dude, you sound like you just woke up. Yeah, I kind of was asleep. But nevertheless, whenever I called him, if he was able to help me, he was there. And as he started passing, he was like, hey, I got all these things I'm gonna give to you. Like, I'm gonna be leaving soon, I might be moving on. And, well, he wasn't talking about religious, like moving on, but you know what he meant. And then he slowly started getting sick, and the phone calls start being less and less. So when I got the news, it was just like, I knew it was coming, but even if you know it's coming, you can't really fully prepare for that. So on that, I'm gonna leave you guys with the poem that I wrote. It is called The Dash. The dash is the most important part of your life because this is the story that is told at the end of your life. The dash is what people remember and the stories others tell. But it has nothing to do with how you lived or dwelled in hell. The dash describes what you did for others while you were alive. So this is the story that is told through other people's eyes. Life is short and time just slips by, but the dash is a reminder that you never have to say goodbye because you are telling someone else's story so they remain alive. The dash is something that everyone is going to meet because the dash holds the timeline of when the beginning and end meets. The dash is a flash of the memories of the past. In the blink of an eye, we can all become a memory of someone else's past. So make your life worth it, because we only have the dash for someone else to describe our past. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Who's next? Come on. Okay, sweetie. Glad you were here. Thank you. Anybody else? Oops. Let's see. It's very, come on. It's very bright over there. You were one big shadow.
Hello, thanks for everybody coming here. My name is Chris Smith, and perhaps Dennis's oldest friend. We met in 1991, and we're friends for 32 years. He and I were business partners for most of that time. And when I moved out here in 2015, he followed. And when I was editing the Valley Chronicle, I recruited him to be a reporter. I think the Human Relations Council was a marvelous vehicle for him to link up with people who had similar values as his. Dennis and I were roommates for 3 years back in the 80s, and I must say, if you think that you've seen some of the crazy stuff that he did when he was older, you can't imagine some of the crazy stuff he did when he was younger. Some of it I'm not sure is good for this group, but he was a bit of a ladies' man. Dennis was married a couple of times. His first wife was African American, and I think his greatest love was his first wife. His second wife was Jewish, and I believe he converted to Judaism during that period. And it's true, he did have an interest in all religions and spirituality in general. I'd just like to wrap up by saying that it's wonderful that you people have come together to honor him today, because I was wondering if there were going to be any kind of effort by his family to do something, but he had sort of lost touch with much of his family. And I think that he found a wonderful new family here in the Valley. Thank you.
Who else would like to come up? Got another Chris coming. Another Chris. You got this. Watch the cord.
Hi, my name is Chris J. I've lived in this valley for 42 years. 21 years of it has been in California Department of Corrections. I started messing up when I was a long time ago. I got out in 2018, and things were a little different, but I was still using. I was on drugs. 4 years, almost 5 years ago, I was living right here in this riverbed for about 2.5 years. And really bad my addiction at that time. And I don't even know what it was, cardboard, I don't know what it was, built just some kind of shelter out there. And I hear this horn honking. Somebody's driving a white Nissan Frontier down the levee, And it's full of boxes of food. And I said, who is this guy? And I hear, food's here, food's here. And this little old man, white hair, happy as could be. And I'm thinking, well, what is this guy doing? I mean, you know, if you guys have heard anything about the people that live out in this riverbed and some of the stories, some of them are true. But for the most part, you know, everybody's just stuck in some type of situation, family situation, or they're addicted or something. And the homeless out there, it's an epidemic, you know. And I was a part of that. But Dennis saved me. He honestly saved me. He took me into his home. He let me shower. He fed me. He was a big part of my life. He pushed me and my beautiful wife together. We're both clean and sober now because of him. And he really meant a lot to me. He said he would save, I mean, he had him and Judy had two mobile homes right here in Country Lakes. And the second one I was a part of helping, there was a big swamp underneath it. And for 2 years or something, they couldn't find the leak. And I was there for 20 minutes and fixed his leak for him. And he said, I was the smartest man in the whole world. You know? And I said, well, water runs downhill if you just follow it back up. You know, but you know, when we couldn't even love ourselves, he was always loving us. He was always pushing us in the right direction, and he wanted nothing but the best for every single person out there. And he would stop, you would see somebody just pushing a shopping cart down on their luck. He would stop and help. He didn't care. It shows how much of a man, how many miracles worked through this man. I'm one of them. He's pushed me to become, hopefully in the next year, because of my sobriety and because of 21 years in prison, and every cop in this whole valley knows who I am. You know, I've been pushed in the direction by Dennis. In about a year, I'll be working for Riverside County to be a drug and alcohol counselor. It's not me. That was that man right there. You know, I couldn't have done any of it without him. You know, I was in prison when my mom passed away, and that was a big one for me. But it didn't hit me as hard as when this man died. And I don't mean to offend anybody or anything like that, but I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. And hallelujah. And Dennis, he was absolutely, he walked everywhere. He was trying to seek something all the time. And some of the last words that Dennis, you know, just like my brother right here said, that, you know, the phone call started getting, because he called me 2, 3, 4 times a day. And it's like, sometimes you're like, Dennis, bro, I got things to do. You know, but he would always tell me that I'm a beautiful musical instrument of God. And, you know, it touched my heart. And, you know, I was always sitting in the music for me, being in the chapel. And you know, we have beautiful, beautiful worship centers out there in the desert. And, you know, I'm a part of that now. And I would always send him, us during worship before service would start, you know, everybody singing and praising Jesus. And, you know, he'd be like, hey, I can't hear what you're saying, all that Jesus music. But he's like, you know, there's nothing more that I need now is prayer. And he says, if there's any religion that I can relate to, he's all, I think I'm Jewish. You know, so I know that he's in heaven, and I know he's smiling down on us all. And, you know, he was such a good man. He really was. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chris. So glad you're here. Okay, who else would like to come up? Tammy, you want to come? Come on. Okay, that's cool.
was a huge, huge part of my life. And I'm also from the Riverbed. And he did so much for the homeless. He was so special. I just having such a hard time with this.
Talk to him about it.
Okay. He, I knew that he was passing. Long before, he told me that he wanted Tiffany and I and Jamie to become part of the Youth Council. And he wanted, he was pushing us and pushing us. But it just didn't work out, that we didn't go, you know? And I regret that so much. He talks so much about you. My car had broken down. And I needed a new alternator, and I was stuck in my car where it was at because I wasn't going to leave my car. And he was trying everything to give me that alternator. And God gave me the $100. It just, out of the blue, somebody owed me $100, and it owed me $100 for 2 years, you know? And they popped up with $100. And my vehicle was stolen recently. And every day I think, God, I wish Dennis was here so we could talk to him, you know? So many things have happened, and I just wish he was here. Because even though he was telling us all these things that needed to happen, you know, before he kept saying he was going to go to Philadelphia. It was his, you know, and but nothing ever fell into place. And now I'm looking at it going, why am I not doing what I want to do? So I think, you know, Tiffany and I need to talk about it, but I think that's where we're going to start. Because I would hate for him and all the work that he did just to stop. You know, I don't want it to stop. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Anybody else like to come up? Come on.
Trip and fall, make all your life.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, you know, I was listening to everybody's story about how they met Dennis, and I was trying to think back. I knew Dennis for a long time. I think I actually met him through El Zarapi. I think we were sitting there eating dinner one day, and he just came up. And Dennis is the type of person, he don't know no strangers. And if you are a stranger, he'll make sure that you're not when he gets done talking with you. And, he came up, I guess he was following us on Him and I News, and he came and introduced himself to me, and I think this is when he was working with you, Chris, over there at Valley Chronicle at the time. And I met a lot of great people through Dennis. You know, I got to meet Chris, started working with the Chronicle with him, and I can't remember how many people I met through him. I met Al over there at Boy's Burgers. He connected us with him. And Al's been a great friend ever since. So, you know, I met a lot of great people. I met Gina, Miss Judy. And Judy, I gotta say, you know, Dennis, you were a big part of Dennis's life. He's constantly talked about Miss Judy. So he loved Judy with all his heart, you know, all the time. I don't think there's a day that went by that Dennis did not mention Miss Judy. And it was all good. It was all good. He never complained about her. You know, his life revolved around Miss Judy. You know, oh, I can't do this because I got to go be with Miss Judy. You know, so he loved you, Judy. You were his world. You know, so I really appreciate you being in Dennis's life. You've helped Dennis out a lot. He's talked about how much you've been there for him and how much he's been there for you. you two were two peas in a pod, you know, so. Then, of course, you know, Dennis also, one of his biggest things in his heart, he's always thought about other people. He's always put other people first. And especially when it comes to the homeless issue. Dennis has always been out there for the homeless. And like Chris was saying, you know, people always say, oh, you gotta be careful about going down that riverbed. And you couldn't tell him no difference. He didn't care how dangerous it was. Midnight, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, he'd be going down to that riverbed. Because why? He wanted to help. You know, exactly. And Dennis always talked about you, Chris. He's talking about how good of a mechanic you are, how good of a contractor you are. If you need something fixed, call Chris, you know. And there's a couple times I about called you to come help me with stuff, you know, thanks to Dennis. So Dennis was your calling card, you know. I know he probably sent you a lot of work. And, you know, it makes me feel good to hear your story about how Dennis helped you get clean. Dennis tried to help everybody get clean, you know. He didn't see no bad in nobody. If there was, he'd try to turn it around and make that negative into a positive. That was Dennis. And I couldn't thank Dennis enough for what he's done for our community. Dennis has been a big part of our Him and I News. He was also one of my reporters as well. He loved to write articles, and a lot of the articles he liked to write was either about the Human Relations Council or about the homeless issue, you know. And let me tell you guys, when the sheriff's department comes down to the riverbed, he would fight those deputies. He would give them hell, you know, don't mess with these guys, you know. I heard them all the time. What is these homeless supposed to do? One minute you're running them out of the riverbed, the next minute you're telling them to go back. So what are these guys supposed to do, you know? He had y'all's backs. He really did. And I just can't say enough about Dennis, how much his heart was for this community, the people, the homelessness issues. If he thought there's a way to resolve an issue with homelessness, he's going to do it. And I remember one time there was a meeting with Captain Purvis with, he was a corporal, or, yeah, no captain, he was a captain. And this is before he retired, and there was a meeting about the homeless issue and what they're going to do about the riverbed. And I swear Dennis had y'all's back so bad that they were getting ready to kick him out of his office, you know? And you remember that, right? So I can't say Dennis would never put you guys first. So, you know, that's just what I wanted to say about Dennis. You know, his heart was about the people. And definitely the homeless, he always wanted to help you guys. And it makes me feel good to actually hear a testimony like yours, Chris. I mean, it sent chills down my arms just listening to your story. Because I remember Dennis talking so much about you and how much you've changed. And, you know, this world is politically incorrect, you know. If people want to judge somebody for what they look like or what they used to be, Dennis would never judge. He'd see the positive side in somebody. He would take that negative and he would make it into a positive. He has to die trying, he did. So, you know, I just want to say, you know, again, thanks to Dennis for what he's done for our community, what he's done for the people in our community, and what he's done for us with Him and I News. And again, Miss Judy, I know you're going to definitely miss Dennis, and he's looking down and he's keeping an eye on you, and he's going to make sure that you're always taken care of. So that's my story, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks, Eddie. Anybody else?
Can I get a repeat? Just a brief one?
Yeah.
Listening to everybody speak really got to me, because I realized, and I looked around the room, I think I've met everybody here through Dennis. He created a new life for me here as well. I mean, and his passion to help I mean, I really respected that, and I'm still trying to help. Again, he did the hands-on, face-to-face, and I'm trying to do the long-term, you know, let's get some place for everybody to live and get them the help that they need. And it's a team effort, though, and sometimes we're all banging our head against the wall, but we keep on banging, we keep on working on it, and from what stories he's told me about him growing up, how he turned into this amazing human being. It's just, wow. I just needed to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. I just want to remind everybody that grief is the price of love. If you don't love somebody, you're not going to grieve over them. Well, we got grief, and I think that means that we love Dennis. So I think that's very true. Does anybody else like to share? Maybe we have time for maybe one more. Yeah, come on, Cindy.
Hi, my name is Cindy Boeing.
Get closer.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't want it to be like,
You're okay.
Okay. I met Dennis through a homeless project, working with the homeless, Carly Miner, about maybe 5 years ago. And he was the most extraordinary man. He had so much enthusiasm, and he's one of the smartest men I ever met, too. I hadn't realized how much education he had and how many other things he'd done in life, and how much experience he had. But at that time, I was interested in photography. I had a little Nikon camera, and he would drag me along with him when he went on stories for the Chronicle to take pictures. He was always encouraging me. And I'll share this little funny story. He impacted my life a lot, a great deal. I admired how he helped the homeless. He was selfless. He was always calling to check in and see what I was doing and so forth. But one funny story I'd like to share with you is Dennis was going up to Saboba Flight Park, which is right over here. I was going to do a story up there. And he said, "Do you want to go along?" And I said, "Oh, sure, I'd like to go along. Let me get my camera." And I'm all ready to go. And he says, "Well, we're going to ride this little cart up the hill." You remember that? And he says, "Get in this little cart." And I said, "I don't know if I can do this, Dennis. I'm not afraid of heights. Gravity is a bitch. I just don't like heights. Whether it's falling down from my 5'8" or riding up this little cart." And here we blazed up this little trail that's about the size of a golf trail, maybe. And over the edge, it was hundreds of feet down. Oh, wasn't that the scariest thing? I was crying and praying and had my eyes closed all the way down. And Dennis was just laughing. God willing, we made it down. I still have that video. It's on my phone. I don't know how to get it out of the phone. It's too long to send. But anyway, I'm so grateful I met Dennis. He's just so wonderful man. And thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is just so beautiful to have everyone here. This is just terrific. And I am going to ask Miss Jenny Antoinette Mazingo to come up and read a beautiful poem for us.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Let me tell you, before I read this poem, I got to tell you about me and Dennis.
Go for it.
I met Dennis the first year I came here, which was 2012, at the college, because the Human Rights Council was having, an event. We were doing our kids' stories. Dennis came over and got to talking to me, and I was like, who is this character. He just kept talking, and it was all positive, but I was trying to hear the kids. So I moved. Dennis came right over there where I was and kept talking. So finally I was able to get over by Mary and hide. And when it was time to leave, there was Dennis walking out with me, making sure I got to the car on time. And the whole time, you know what the conversation was about? Judy. The whole time, he was telling me about Judy. And what he was doing, well, he found out that I'm in the streets like, what would you say to him, 2-3 times a week? And I do him in San Jacinto. He was up there on the hill, where not too far away, where you guys were talking, right outside the riverbed. And he said, well, I know some people that need some things. So I started bringing him things. That's when I met you over there. And Dennis's whole house was full of blankets and pillows and clothes and canned goods. And I brought him something, and he went to put it in the freezer, and the freezer was packed. I said, Dennis, this can't go in the, oh yeah, go in the freezer. Don't worry, they'll come and get it today, but it's going in the freezer. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is he never saw a negative. You'd fight with Dennis? Oh Lord, I'd have fights with him, because he'd come up with some of the craziest things. And I'd say, what are you talking about? And he said, just listen, just listen. And if you remember when I was running for office and he put something in the paper I didn't want in there, I beat him up. And guess what? He was over the next day getting some stuff for the kids out at the river. So Dennis, to me, was a multifaceted individual with a lot of love and talents for everybody. Malcolm, I got so tired of hearing about you and I had already met, girl, I had met Malcolm when we were running for office, but I didn't know Dennis was going to take that and blow it up, and that was his whole thing. If it wasn't Judy, it was Malcolm. If it wasn't Malcolm, it was Judy. Oh, well, Malcolm can come do so-and-so. Well, Judy and I are going to dinner. Or, no, I'm going out, do you have some things? We need $20 every time it rains for them to wash and dry their clothes. We need such and such for so-and-so. So Dennis, to me, was a person that you couldn't live without, and it was hard to live with sometimes. You loved him, I loved him, but oh my God, would we fight. I tell him, Dennis, you can't be doing such and such. Dennis, you can't do this. You can. Yes, I can, and I'm going to do it. And then he'd question you about an issue, and when you tell him what your issue was, he turned that around and made it his issue and changed it for his support. So, you know, I was with him maybe a couple of weeks before he started going down because we had some things from our people out there. And I am still in a state of shock, as we all are. I was not expecting Dennis. I thought he was going to Philadelphia myself. I didn't know he was as sick as he was. But he did his advocacy work up until the day he died. And I hope everybody in here can remember that. Don't step back, don't give up. Help those. We were put here for a purpose. Live your purpose and don't stop. And when I met you, you had not gone to treatment. You were still on the other side. And he told me he was going to have you come over and fix my engine. I told him, because I had been working with you over there, and I said, this guy is a character. I don't know if I want this man up on my truck. So he was always an advocate for everybody. He didn't find a stranger. He didn't find an enemy. And if you were his enemy, he flipped you around to be his buddy, okay? So I had to say that. I know everyone has kind of said the same thing, but It's so good. This is good for us, you know, because all of us have been crying in the heart, if not out with your eyes. And it's good to share the good, the bad. Everybody's not perfect. None of us are perfect. But Dennis came close to trying to be perfect.
Amen.
Yes. So I'm going to read this poem. It's on the last page, the final poem. His Journey Just Begun by Ellen Brenneman. Don't think of him as gone away. His journey's just begun. Life holds so many facets. This earth is only one. Just think of him as resting from the sours and the tears in a place of warmth and comfort where there are no days or years. Think how he must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. And think of him as living in the hearts of those he touched, all of us. For nothing loved is ever lost, and he was loved so much. Rest in peace, my brother. Thank you.
We have one more, sorry about that, and I'm going to try to read it off of my phone. Usually I can do text stuff, but today, I think, what was it? Mercury's in retrograde, and something's going nuts. I had a really nice, beautiful memorial kind of poem I was going to read. It was kind of soupy, kind of serious, kind of not Dennis. But this morning on my Facebook page, it popped up something I posted a year ago. And Dennis was the only one who put a little heart by it. And it was like, thank you, Dennis. What this is the reverse St. Francis prayer. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. It's perfect. I knew this was for Dennis. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. Where there is apathy, let me provoke. Where there is compliance, let me bring questioning. Where there is silence, may I be a voice. Where there is too much comfort and too little action, grant disruption. Where there are doors closed and hearts locked, grant the willingness to listen. When laws dictate and pain is overlooked, when tradition speaks louder than need, grant that I may seek rather to do justice than to talk about it. Disturb us, O Lord, to be with as well as for the alienated, to love the unlovable as well as the lovely. Lord, make me a channel of disturbance. Thank you, Dennis. And now I'm going to ask Michael to do just a closing blessing, and then we're going to have some food and some refreshments and fellowship.
I'll sing, we'll share another song together. If you feel like stretching, you can stand and you can do some of the dancing, which is just stepping a few steps forward and stepping a few steps backward. We don't have a dance force, but do whatever you can. Shake a leg or wave a hand. This song is about the badger, which badger is a very compact and small creature, but he's very fierce. And so we remember the badger when we need to clear a pathway. So if we're going to do something difficult, we're going to make a long journey, we remember to sing to the badger, asking for strength, inspiration, and some fight. And so we know Dennis had a lot of fight, and he still does. So he's up in the spirit world fighting for us still. Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. 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 Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Ahu na lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Ahu na lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Ahu na lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe, lukulewe. Ahu na lukulewe, temai kanto pai kan lukulewe. Aha, aha, aha. Okay, that's it. Keep up all the good work and keep pushing forward Dennis's passions in your life.
You got it.
Fight for good. Enjoy your lunch too.
Close your eyes with me as we close out. Today, as we close this memorial, we gather here to remember and honor the life of Dennis Fletcher. Dennis touched our lives in countless ways, and his presence will forever be cherished in our hearts. Dennis was a person who brought joy and positivity wherever he went. His infectious laughter, his warm smile, and his unwavering kindness brightened the lives of those around him. He had a way of making everyone feel seen and valued, and his genuine compassion left a lasting impact on us all. As we say our final goodbyes to Dennis, let us remember the beautiful moments we've shared with him. Let us recall the laughter, the stories, and the love he brought into our lives. In these memories, Dennis lives on, reminding us of the precious gift of his presence. And though we feel the weight of grief today, let us find solace in the legacy Dennis leaves behind. He showed us the power of embracing life, of living each day with passion and gratitude. And let his spirit inspire us to cherish our own lives, to treasure our relationships, and to make a positive difference in the world, just as he did. And as we bid farewell to Dennis, let us support one another in this time of mourning. Together we can find strength, find comfort, and find healing. Through our shared memories and our collective love for Dennis, we can find solace and remember that we are not alone in our grief. Dennis will forever remain a part of us, in our hearts, in our spirits. Our spirits will continue to be with his as he guides our spirits and inspires us. May his memory be a source of light and hope, reminding us to live with kindness, to embrace joy, and to spread love in all that we do. Many thanks to Golden Era, especially our own Linda Grillick, for the use of this beautiful venue. Thanks to the Valley. Thanks to the Valley Community Pantry for the water, to El Zarape Restaurant for chips and salsa, and to all of the HRC members and friends who brought the refreshments and helped make this event so special. Thank you all for joining us today to honor and remember Dennis Fletcher, and may we carry out his legacy moving forward, keeping his spirit alive through our actions and our love. And may we find comfort in the memories we hold and the bonds we share. And may we move forward with strength and resilience that Dennis embodied. May peace be with you all as we navigate this journey of healing and remembrance.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. Now I invite you all, we have lots and lots of food. Please eat. Please eat. Manja, manja.
Also want to let everybody know in the front room, Gina Estrin has put up a video display, a memorial of Dennis, if you want to come by and watch it as well too. Thank you.
Everybody, we are collecting things for our fellow residents that don't have a house. We're collecting food, we're collecting clothing, socks are very important. Yes. And we also need referrals for homes for these people. So please, if you know someone, if you have a contact, please contact one of us on the board. Let us know so we can continue his legacy.
Well, what did they go by? He did. I think that's how I did it.
Well, I don't know. I think Eric was, you and Eric knew each other. John was contributing stuff, paper and stuff like that.
It's been so long, I can't remember.
But then he wanted to continue his reporting work, you know, some outlets.
Right. He did a lot of stories.
Yeah.
He loved them. That was his passion, you know.
He was highly educated. People got irritated with him. He was real
They didn't like that.
They didn't like it, but he had the background.
He's been down my studio.
There's a guy named he was right there.
It's okay. He was?
No, see, there's people know. Well, it's amazing after I'm 37. So Mario came around when 39. So it was before my age.
Every day is something different.
Every thousand.
Can't keep up.
Come on through, Miss Judy.
There you go, sweetheart.
Lovely words.
Do what, honey?
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's the truth, baby. I know, he loved you to death, I tell you. He was his girl.
You would be telling me, oh, I'm taking her to the Orange County or going
Right,
to the
he's-
hospital. We stopped and got you a cake on the way home.
Right? He's
Yeah.
always.
It's good seeing you.
You too, Chris. How's it going,
Eddie,
bro?
you're doing a great job.
Huh?
Eddie, you're doing a great job.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, getting ready to.
Did you hear about a terrible car accident at State in Florida?
Last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, my team was on it.
Good.
I think it happened right in front of them.
Well, because I opened the museum on Sundays.
Right.
And I saw 40 foot of our fence down.
Yeah.
And I thought, how the heck did that happen? And I looked over and I saw those big yellow cement poles, and those didn't slow them down enough to keep from going through this giant,
They
thick
were
wrought
racing.
iron fence.
Yeah, they were racing.
The cops get them?
Yeah, police were called. I'll show you the video in just a minute.
Yeah, that's great. I'd like that.
Yeah, it's on our page. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the ending of the memorial service for Dennis Fletcher. May he rest in peace. He will be truly missed. And again, I want to say thank you for all the donations from all the sponsors. Also, El Zarapi Mexican Restaurant for supplying the chips and salsa at the last minute notice. So they're always great helping us out. This is Eddie George, that crazy guy with a lazy eye, reporting live here at Golden Era Golf Course.